to another edition of the Press Box. Brian Carson here with my co-host Kenny Varner. Kenny, how's it going?
It's going pretty good. Awesome day. How about you?
Yeah, you enjoying this weather? Holy moly, it must be Indian summer.
Love it. Hope it stays.
Yeah. Speaking of warm weather, we're going to turn away from fall sports right now and go to the spring. We have with us, and we're very pleased, new Juniata softball coach Craig Bubb and the pitching guru, assistant coach at Juniata, real former head coach at State College and Mifflin County softball, needs no introduction around here, Jack McCurdy. Thank you, Jack.
Thanks for having me.
Craig.
Yeah.
Wow. My first question, I got to ask this. Did you know that Aaron was going to do this?
Yep. Yep.
We
knew
that Jamestown game.
The Jamestown game. Yeah, so we knew at the Jamestown game. She talked to Jack and I, and she said, "Listen, I need to be back home with my mom and my family, and terrible circumstance that she went through with her dad, and so she said, she's like, listen, I'm gonna be there. If you guys win this game, I'll be there for the state championship, but I'm heading back to Boston."
Oh, well, hey, family comes first. You know that. I don't have to tell either of you that.
Yep.
Right.
So,
For sure.
how excited are you?
Oh, I'm extremely excited. Extremely excited. We had a parent preseason meeting last Wednesday. We had our first open practice last night. We have another one tomorrow, and we're looking forward to getting these girls back on the field and get ready to get back to Penn State.
And what's even better, I think, is Jack is going to stay on too, and as assistant.
Well,
I'm sure he's going to handle pitchers. Jack, what was your thoughts on it when she told you she was going to leave? Did you expect that Craig might get it?
Well, I think initially he wanted me to be the head coach, and I just don't want to do that anymore. One of the things I've learned in 3 years down there is I'm a better coach when I don't have to worry about all that stuff that goes on. I'm able to see things more clear. I don't have all that stuff going through my mind about what's this kid's parents going to think if I don't play her or this and that. I mean, because you always get into that, and so I really enjoy just being an assistant or a volunteer coach.
Awesome. Yeah, you don't have to do all that administrative stuff either,
Well, I'll help Craig with that stuff. It's when I'm, I don't know. I've done this in two kind of elite schools, and it always seems to come down to the same thing: is that if the parents aren't happy with the amount of playing time that their kids getting, and they think that they should be getting more, you're just gonna have conflict, and I don't really want to deal with that.
Craig, that's a good point that he brought up. Not that it happens down at Juniata, but if it does, how are you going to handle something like that? Or do you think it's a better situation because of the success that you guys had and people know and the girls know their roles?
So I would like to say that we handled that at the preseason meeting on Wednesday. And if I can be so blunt to repeat what I said at the preseason meeting to the parents, I said, our top 5 hitters hit 346 last year.
That's awful.
Pretty impressive. It's pretty impressive. Okay, so cumulatively, our top 5 hitters hit 346. We tried to plug in 11 different girls, 6 through 9. They hit 140.
Wow.
So I told the parents at the meeting Wednesday night, we're gonna find 6, 7, 8, 9. And we're gonna have off-season workouts, which we started last night. We are going to have like a lot of winter workouts, and it is going to be hitting heavy. And so my message to the parents is, if your kid can hit, she gonna play. Period. So we want to be solid 1 through 9. And that's like literally, as honest as I can be, I've been doing this for 25 years. I want to have a lineup that I can feel comfortable at number 8 is getting a hit in the bottom of the 7th.
I think your dog agrees too.
Yeah,
That's my dog.
exactly.
Oh, Jack, your dog agrees too. Hit. So, you guys have been together for a while. What do you? How do you two? Do you feel the dynamic between the two of you? I want you both to answer this. How you guys complement each other? Because I'm sure, even though you've been together 12 years, you have different styles of coaching, I would assume. How do you complement each other, do you feel? Craig, we'll start with you.
Well, Jack is absolutely amazing at game management, and it starts with the pitching staff. And so Jack is he wants the best 9 kids on the field. He wants his best pitcher in the circle. And he is going to call a game that is going to give us a chance to win. I am not a conservative coach. So I like to have girls running. I like to switch things up. I like to have chaos. I like chaos. Jack hates chaos. No, where I don't want chaos. I'm like, why are you subbing her in? Why are you doing this? Why are you doing that? Jack likes stability and sanity. I like insanity and instability. Like, let it rip. But it works. You know, and I go back to like our days in Mifflin County with Dave Stock. Stucky was the go-between between the two of us. I was a little bit wild. Jack was a little bit laid back. And Stucky was like, well, maybe we can make both of this work. You know? And you know, I think that's kind of what we're gonna do this year at Juniata. We had our first open practice last night, and we talked about that. You know, we talked about the fact that, you know, we all love Erin. We all respect what she did. She built this program. This is her team, and we're gonna keep a lot of it the same. But we're going to do a couple things a little different, you know? We're going to do a couple things a little different. So,
Jack, let me get your perspective then about how you and Craig work together. What do you think makes you guys click like you do?
Well, I think that we have similar philosophies about this. Aaron liked to practice the kids for 2 hours, 2.5 hours sometimes, and I always thought the kids start to drag a little bit, and especially at the end of the season when that happens. And when she was not there for that Jamestown game, I thought they were some of the best practices that we had, and had a lot of confidence going into that game.
All right. And Kenny, everybody knows that watches this show, I can be an interview hog. So go ahead, fire in if you got something.
Okay. You're stepping in your role for that the players have already seen you at before in that Jamestown game. Will the atmosphere be the same? I know you like to have the kids relax and have fun. Is that going to be the same atmosphere that you had with her as
Uh,
a coach?
oh well, I mean, if the kids aren't having fun, why are they there?
Mm-hmm.
So the a number one philosophy is we need to be having fun, and we got to have fun, but it's got to be within reason. So there's got to be a little bit of discipline there, so you can't have the convicts running to prison. You gotta have a little bit of discipline. You gotta have a little bit of you know um, you got to have a little bit of control. However, these are 16 and 17-year-old girls, and they are living out the end of their school year. Pretty much the whole postseason is post school year. So you got to let them have a little bit of fun. I truly believe that a 2-hour regimented practice on June 5th probably isn't going to garner you any points with your players. But if we can focus for an hour and 15 minutes, hour and 20 minutes, if we can focus on what we need to do for an hour and 15, hour and 20 minutes, we're gonna get the most bang for our bucks. I've already told our parents, listen, from May 10th to June 15th, that's the postseason. That's when we need to peak, and that's actually when we peaked last year. We peaked in the postseason. We had a little bit of a hiccup against Upper Dauphin, but outside of that, I mean, we were at our best those last five weeks of the season, and that's kind of what you have to crescendo up into is those last 5 weeks of the season. That's when it matters, and you gotta be focused, and you gotta be dialed in, but at the same time you got to make those kids want to come in for 2.5 weeks after they're out of school. They're done. They're like the school year's over. How are you getting those kids to come back after school's over and it's summer vacation and you're trying to win a state championship? That's tough. That's the point of the season, that you have to get that buy-in, and you get that buy-in on March 6th when the season starts.
Yes. Yeah, you got to put the fundamentals in, in the beginning of the season, and then keep working on those. But I think Craig's absolutely right. I mean, at the end of the season, it's you want the girls to have fun. You want to have their buy-in, and that's exactly what we did.
Awesome. I appreciate the like. We got a like from Braden Treester. Before I ask my next question, I want Braden to know the Rams are going to kick your butt this week. You're going to get Puka Nakua'd all over the place.
Oh boy.
Yeah. Go Rams.
Who they play? Dallas.
Eagles.
Oh,
No.
Eagles. Oh, okay.
I think Braden's like his dad. He's an Eagle fan, I believe. And
He's
and
definitely
also
a fan.
and also let's really hope that the Marlins can come back on the Phillies. Come on. All right. That's enough of that. So uh obviously last year it was a great year, but you have to admit it was kind of surprising from where you know to get to the from where the season started, what you were expected to do to get to the state finals. You are not going to be a surprise team this year. Do you think the dynamic changed at all? Are you worried a little bit about them being under pressure because you know everybody's going to give you their A game or try to give you their A game? Any worries on that side on pressure?
I mean, from my perspective, um, the fact that we were kind of, I said this Wednesday, I'm like, last year we were the hunters. This year we're going to be the hunted. And I, I, every single girl that was in that meeting, they were like, okay, yeah, let's just go. Like we're ready to go. And so a lot of these girls play travel ball. They play all summer long, and they they they've not seen the pressure of a state tournament, but they've seen big time games, you know, and I don't think it's gonna be that big of a deal. They've been there. They know what to expect. You know, maybe a little later we can talk about what we may experience in the postseason, but I think they're ready. I think they're ready to go. I think back to your original question, it was a little bit surprising. Like we talked a little bit about what our goals were for the season, and it was, you know, the very first goal was to qualify for districts because we had never qualified for districts. Well, then it was win districts. And if you win districts, you get into the state tournament. And then it was win a game in the state tournament. And I think every player that's coming back, they are ready to get back there. And we're going to come back bigger, faster, stronger, and more ready for what that even means. I honestly, I think we're going to be a little bit scary next year. I think we're going to be a little bit scary.
This past season, and I kept telling Liz, you know, like the Tri Valley League that we played in, and when I first went down there, I didn't realize that league was that good, but they are, and and they got to see Liz for what 3 years, like two times a game, and I kept saying to her, like, look, you got to mix things up a little bit. You can't keep relying on certain pitches and this and that. But I told her, I said, once we get to the postseason, nobody's going to know you. And she really took us a long way.
Yeah, they know her now for sure. Jack, you've been coaching a long time with pitchers, and you've had a lot of good ones. Where does Liz rate in your eyes, in your mind?
Among the very best. I mean, she's very good. Um, she just moves the ball so well that and just keeps people off like off base or whatever. And and I keep saying to Craig, I'm like, I keep throwing like the same 2-3 pitches, and I feel like I should be calling other things. And he's like, don't try to outsmart yourself. He said, stick with it's working.
Yeah, really. How many strikeouts does she got again?
423 this year.
Yeah, I mean, come on. You don't need another pitch. You don't need another pitch.
Yeah.
Well, she has them.
Do you think it's even possible for her to improve?
Oh yeah, I think so.
Absolutely.
In what ways?
Well, she's got an excellent drop ball that, and I always want her to throw it, but she's a little afraid to throw anything down there because she's afraid that they're going to golf it or something. I don't know. But she really has an outstanding drop ball and a decent change. I mean, it could get a little better. I'd really like to see her like perfect that change up. And with that, she's going to be unhittable.
Wow, that should scare a lot of every team. Unhittable. So, but still, Jack, I'm sorry, go, Craig.
Yeah. So talking about this with like, and I don't think 17-year-old girls, but Jack and I, we coached against Morgan Ryan from Hempfield, that was state runner-up, state champ, and went on a full ride to Notre Dame. And Morgan Ryan was probably the best pitcher that I ever saw. And to back up what Jack said, the thing that Morgan Ryan did, she threw all the pitches. She threw 63, 64. She could eat it up with the best. She would throw that rise ball. She would do this. She threw a changeup that would literally break hitters' back. And so, to back up what Jack said, if we can figure out how to get Liz to get comfortable with that changeup, with all the stuff that she throws, that's obviously unhittable. She struck out 2 girls an inning. I mean, if we can get Liz to get comfortable throwing that changeup, she's unhittable. Absolutely unhittable. That one pitch, and she only has to throw it 5 or 6 times a game. Stuff now, and you throw that changeup in there, and the good hitters on the best teams are going to be like, what the heck? How do I hit that? So it's
then the question is how do you get her more comfortable with it, Jack? Just have her throw it?
Yeah, well, when she goes out to practice or warm up before a game, she throws it, and I'll say to her, like, when we played Upper Dalton, we played them like 3 times this year, and I said, you've got to mix things up a little bit. They know what you're going to throw, and she would throw it. She wouldn't throw it for a strike, but at least she showed it, and that's what she needs to do, And her drop ball. Remember that first game we played against Belfont, that scrimmage game? That thing was like, oh my God, it would just disappear.
So you've got a pitcher like Liz that's so top notch. But I know you can't neglect anybody else. How important is it you to make sure you've got other pitchers there ready to go?
Well, we've been working with 2 of our freshmen from this year. I go down to Craig's practices on Wednesdays, and they've improved a lot over the summer. So, I mean, you got to have somebody that you can put in there. And actually, our shortstop, she's not a bad pitcher, but she just wants to play shortstop, and so that's fine. She's a great shortstop.
Well, maybe we can get Liz a red shirt year.
Yeah. But I actually had the one that Jeff's talking about. She's a sophomore this year, but she was our JV pitcher last year, and she played for me this summer with the Lady Patriots, and I got her some innings, and she worked her tail off all summer. As did Kaylin Brown. Like, they worked the tail off. They came down every Wednesday night, all summer long, along with a sixth grader that's coming up. They came down every Wednesday night at 6 o'clock. They worked for an hour, and I threw Addie. You guys would probably know Addie's grandfather, Craig Rutherford, from the old days of the racing roundup.
Yeah.
So Addie pitched our championship game in the last tournament. He ended up losing 5-4, but he pitched an amazing. And so we're going to continue to work with these young pitchers. And get a couple of this year, which were I could drop some names, but I think it might be a little early to drop a couple names. Actually, I'm going to drop a couple names. So two of the girls that I think are going to come help us next year, when they can, because high school coaching is a massive commitment. Taylor McKay and Danny Priester, two very, very well-known names in Mifflin County softball, want to come down and help us coach. So if we can get them down there and can work with the pitchers like he used to do in Mifflin County when we were in our heyday up there, when Jack would work with 3, 4, 5 pitchers, and Stuckey and I and Steve Myers, and Jess Henry, we would work with the outfield and the infield and take care of batting practice, and Jack would work with those pitchers.
Craig, I think you froze, buddy.
2025.
Hey, Craig.
Yeah.
I hate to do that to you, but you completely froze, so I missed some of the things you said.
Okay.
I remember we got to where you were saying that Jess and you guys worked with the outfield, and then you froze.
Oh, okay. Well, I think if Jack can work with those young pitchers and have more time to devote to those young pitchers, we have a year and a half to get those 2 young pitchers ready to go. And so if the other coaches, we can work infield and outfield and back, and Jack can take an hour a night or an hour every other night and work with those young pitchers, it is going to bode very well.
You guys, I'll get both your opinions on this. I don't have to say it. I don't have to remind you. Got so close last year. So close. What do you need to do? Or do you think it was just getting that experience will be the difference? But what do you think you need to do to get over that hump and bring that state championship back to Mifflin Town?
I think they just need to keep playing the way they did. After that game was over, I walked into the dugout, and Reagan, our catcher, and Liz were there, and I said, "We're coming back here next year. We're going to finish this thing."
And do the girls feel that way, you think?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God, yeah. Absolutely. They totally did. And, here's how I fell into that those girls were. So you guys, so the double play is 6th inning. Actually, it ended 5th inning. The 5th inning was a double play, and we had 1 out, runner on second.
First and second.
Maria Brunko was up. And Jack, Jordan and I were looking. We were like, should we walk her? You know? And Reagan turns around and looks for a sign. And she looked to us and said, don't even think about it. She said, don't even think about it. She knew we were thinking about walking. And she was like, don't even think about it. And I looked at Jack looked at me, and I was like, don't give her anything good. And she hit that fly ball to right. We caught it and turned a double play and came in and had a chance to win. That fire, that chip on their shoulder. They were not afraid of their best player. And so I just think that we saw the best of the best, and we're not going to back down to anybody.
I went down to scout that team because we got to play that Thursday and they got rained out. And I went down to scout them in Bloomsburg. And who are they playing? What was that team, Craig? Palisades. And they intentionally walked her every single time. And Erin stopped by there too. And she said, do you think we should walk her? And I said, no way. We're not going to build her up like that. She's got to earn it.
Yeah. I mean, when you got a pitcher like Liz, I agree. Why would you do that?
I can't see any reason to.
And Liz likes that. I mean, she was like, I'm not walking her. I'm going right at her. You know, she had a little bleeder seeing eye single into left that was meaningless. But she didn't do anything. You know, that girl hit home runs during the year. You know, and Liz is like, from her. And her was like, don't even think about walking. You know?
Yeah, great players want challenge. They don't want to do stuff like that.
Right.
Yep.
Well, I told Liz when she
sorry.
was warming up that day, I said, look, you got to learn to throw this rise ball in on a left-handed pitcher. And I said, when you warm up today, you need to really practice that. And I think her first time up, Liz threw her that rise ball, and all she could do was like hit it off the handle, and it was a fly ball to our shortstop.
Yeah.
So I know the obvious answer to this question, Jack, but I want to hear it from you. How does she process information? How does she take instruction from you? Is she quick at like, okay, I got to do this. I'll adjust this.
Well, I mean, when I first started working with her freshman year, you know, and I knew that she'd worked with Dave Breon and she plays for all these teams and stuff like that. And I said, look, you know, you don't have to be afraid of me. I'm not here to change anything that you do. I might give you suggestions from time to time. You can take them or you can not. And her first year, she was really quiet. She was really hard to read. But, you know, in her third year, I mean, she was even at the point where she came in one time and said, you know, like, we don't want to throw anything good to this kid. And I'm like, exactly.
Kenny, you got anything, buddy?
Oh, just whenever I was interviewing Liz for the after the championship game, she seemed to have a determination, like a different, almost like this isn't going to happen to me again. Do you see a difference in her demeanor, being, you know, at a competitor like she is. It just seemed like maybe she's got like a chip on her shoulder now, wanting to, get back there.
Oh, I agree. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, her freshman year, honestly, I mean, this kid would strike out 18 kids a game and we'd lose, because we didn't have a defense or the offense to support her. And I thought, like, I'd say to her, I know that you've got to be frustrated, but she never really showed it. She didn't show it to the kids. She didn't show it to anybody else. She just went with the flow. I mean, she's pretty confident.
Yeah, I would to add to that, even perfectly said about her freshman year, but like through her junior year, after being there for 3 years, like she would stay after practice and she would throw batting practice to some of the girls that wanted extra work hitting. She would stand out there and she would throw 100 pitches to the girls that just wanted to get better. And so you always got to be thankful for kids that are great, and she is great. You always got to be thankful for a kid that's great who wants to make her teammates great. And that's all she wants. That's all she wants. She wants the best team around her. Listen, she plays for a travel team down in Virginia. I think I saw a tweet from her coach. They outscored their opponents like 58-1 over the weekend, went 6-0, and the pitchers, her and her two teammates, I think they had like 58 strikeouts and 2 walks. And they gave up 1 run in 6 games, or 3 runs in 6 games. Like, she's playing with great players, and she knows that like, when you're coaching a travel team, which I've done for 23 years now, if you go to a badass tournament up in Olean, New York, or you go to a tournament like at States, or you go to like wherever, if you need an extra pitcher, or you need a shortstop, or you need a center fielder, or you need a 4-hitter, you pick up the phone and you call somebody. You call somebody that might be available. When you're in high school, you have 25 kids, and those are your 25 kids. You need to figure out who is going to fill that hole, And so that's the difference between coaching high school and coaching travel ball is you don't get a pickup player, So you ask your players to pick up the girls that are there. And Liz does that as well as anybody. Her and Reagan and Lex and Savannah Marshall and I can name them all. Shay Armstrong. They want the best girls around them because they have a taste of it now. They have a taste of it now, and they're like, "Whoa, we can win this whole thing." Well, why wouldn't you want to rally your teammates to get better? You know what I mean? And they do a great job of that. They do a great job of that.
Absolutely. How important is it then? You mentioned this when we started the show. How it's obviously then got to be paramount that you find those 6 through 9.
Oh, for sure. Absolutely. Well, I put them all on notice. Last week. Like, we had 11 girls that tried to fill that 6 through 9. We're going to find 4. Our job, it's Jack's job, it's my job, it's Jordan's job. We need to find 4 hitters, period. And the best 4 hitters are going to play.
I don't know if you have specific numbers in mind, but I'm going to ask. You talked about how what the 1 through 5 hit. What would you like to see 6 through 9 hit? Not in the 100s, I'm sure.
So the difference between 150 and 250 is about 40 at bats. So if you can hit 250 6 through 9, you're going to flip the lineup and you're going to give 1 through 5 40 additional at-bats. That's over the course of the season.
Wow.
So if you can give your 1 through 5 40 additional at-bats, you know what it does? Then it gets those bottom 4 20 more. And it snowballs from there. So if you can go from 150 to 250, you're going to turn the lineup over and you're going to give your top 5 40 additional over the course of 20 games.
Yeah, that's a big difference.
And not let kids on base, which seemed to happen to us quite a bit. I mean, we would have those first 5 hitters getting on base, and then we get to the 7, 8, 9, and it was just, oh man, you just can't let those kids on base. You got to score.
How fun is this upcoming season going to be for you guys? You got to be on cloud 9 with a team like this good, that talented. I mean, there's good pitchers, and then there's pitchers that are next level. So you've got a next level pitcher, great hitters too, and she's a good hitter too. And you were coming back, a lot of kids coming back from a state finals team. How fun is next year going to be?
Wow. I can say it's going to be a hell of a lot of fun. And at the same time, there's a little bit of pressure because, you know, I mean, we were in the state finals at Beard Field, and, you know, anything short of that is a disappointment, you know. And so, you know, I've done the research. We did, you know, I have folders on every team that we played or possibly could have played from districts to states. There are a lot of teams that bring back a lot of players just like us. Avonworth, who was the defending state champion, we will most likely see them in the quarterfinals next year. And I can tell you, they were not happy when they walked onto their bus leaving St. Francis after that quarterfinals loss, because they thought returning every single player from their state championship run, they were getting back to win back-to-back, and we throttled them. Like I can remember after the first inning, I can remember that pitcher who was the pitcher of the year the prior year. She looked at her coach and she was like, what just happened? Because Reagan, Liz, and Lex all hit absolute laser beams in the first inning. And that pitcher was like, what just happened? Like, she is not used to being hit like that. And I walked in the dugout. I'm like, we got her. She's like off a rocker. Like, she's absolutely off a rocker. We scored 6 runs off of her. You know, she probably didn't give up 6 runs in the entire postseason the year before. You know, so we're going to have to play them again. And she's going to be on the mound. The catcher's going to be behind the plate. And they now have seen Liz, you know, so we're going to have to bring it a little harder next year, you know.
Well, yeah, there's no doubt about that. It's never easy to go back. It's hard to repeat. It's hard to go back. I mean, it's
Right.
it's not something that just happens. I mean, unless you're Southern Columbia football.
Well, yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what they do, but you know, but for most people, but yeah, I'm sure. You know, the pressure's got to be on you a little bit, but you know, your years coaching, and I know it's hard because Jack, you coach State College and Mifflin County, which is bigger school, bigger classification. Where would you put this team? As If you could, I know it's a stupid reporter question, but if you could rank it, where would this team be?
Well, State College, what was it, 2002 or whatever? We made the state semifinals, and we had a pitcher, Nicole Letterman, who was phenomenal, and we lost that game 1-0. And then at Mifflin County, the year we had Ruby, didn't we make the final 8 or whatever, I believe?
Yeah.
And we lost that game to that team out of Pittsburgh. What was it?
Oh no, we lost to Baldwin.
Baldwin. Yeah. And that day, that whole day, they moved the game up because of their graduation. That field was just, I've never seen that field that sloppy in my whole life. And but this team's solid. I mean, no doubt about it. And the other thing that I really felt like that happened down at Juniata was the community support was outstanding. I mean, we were down there for that district game, and we were trying to negotiate getting a coach bus. And when I pulled in that parking lot that day, it was like the most beautiful bus I've ever seen. It's great. And we were going out of town, and all the people were standing holding up signs and this and that. I looked at Craig and I said, "It's not too much pressure."
Well, because it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen much here in Mifflin County either, but in Juniata County, that was the first time a Juniata team got to not East Juniata, I'm talking Juniata, to a final since wrestling did it.
Right.
In 2003. So, yeah, I mean, it was great that the community got behind you. But so what's the off-season plans? Go through them for me.
Well, we have a couple open field practices that we have set up. We had practice the other night. It's tough with all the girls playing volleyball, playing field hockey, playing soccer. They got cheerleading. They got all kinds of other stuff, and just to open it up to whoever can make it to just get some extra swings, Jack and I got spoiled at Mifflin County. We had the auxiliary gym. We had it 2 nights a week. We had 18 to 20 kids come in, every Tuesday and Thursday. We had pitchers and catchers come in every Saturday morning. We had a reserve spot, and we don't have that opportunity down there. So, we're going to have, as long as the weather holds out, we're going to have open practices, at our batting cage, in the area beside the field, because our softball field is a soccer field, so we can't get on that field to have a practice until soccer's done. So it's a little different, and it we've known that for years, and so we make the most of it, and then in the winter we'll do the same thing. We're gonna get as much gym time as we can, give them as many swings as they can, and work on that thing. Like I said, I think the critical thing heading into next spring is finding that 6 through 9, and if we can hit 1 through 9, I'm not quite sure a team or a coach or a pitcher that's gonna want to face us, because we're so solid 1 through 5. If we can become solid 6 through 9, I don't know how teams or pitchers are gonna attack us. There's not going to be a way to attack us. So this offseason is going to be hit, and hit some more. Period.
I mean, with a pitcher like Liz too, we just need to be able to score 3-4 runs, and I think we're going to win a lot of games.
Yeah. Jack, what's your dog's name? Sasha agrees with you, Craig, on the hitting. She barked 3 times.
Yep.
She agrees.
If she sees a dog on the TV, she barks.
Okay, so most important question of all, Bubby, could Kenny and I hit Liz?
Hell, I couldn't hit Liz.
I know. I'm just desperate to think I'm an athlete again.
Hey, I'm gonna throw a name at you guys, and you may be old enough to remember this name. His name was Brian Pelka.
Yes.
He was from Phillipsburg. He beat us in the district championship game, kept us out of the state tournament my senior year, played for the Pirates for 14 years. He threw me an 0-2 fastball at 94 miles an hour, and I gapped for a double.
Yeah.
Well, I can tell you this much. Hitting a 94-mile-an-hour fastball from Brian Pelko would be easier than hitting a ride ball from Liz Gage.
Oh, really? Wow.
Absolutely.
Then Kenny, we ain't gonna hit her.
We don't stand a chance.
No. I don't know that one day.
Nice.
Well,
Anything
Craig,
Go ahead,
remember
Jack.
when we walked off the field and that Penn State pitching coach came up to us and said, "Is she signed anywhere?"
Sorry. Sorry.
She said, "I like left-handers, and man, she can make that ball move."
Yeah. Oh, she was like, wow. Well, if you remember, she said when we said she was going to Fordham, she was like, I played college softball with her. I know her. I'm texting her as soon as I walk away. Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
She left one get away.
It's going to be fun. I cannot wait for the. Even though I'm a wrestling guy, I can't wait for the spring to come and watch you guys try to get back there and make sure Liz gets on here, Bubby. Make sure.
Oh, well, we will. I talked to her dad earlier tonight, and he said she will be more than happy to get on the show closer to the season.
Awesome. Any final words from either of you?
No, I think it's a fun show. I think it's going to be a fun off season, and like I said, it's my first time in 23 years of coaching girls. It's my first time of being a head coach at a high school, and so I'm going to lean on Jack a lot, and we're gonna see if we can't get this done.
Yeah, it helps to have somebody with that much experience, doesn't it, Craig?
Oh,
as a head coach.
Yeah. Are you kidding me? Like we were drawing straws who was going to go interview for the head coaching job, and Jack's like, "Nah, I did my time. It's your turn."
I am not surprised Jack said that. I'm not.
Well, and to be honest, I mean, with what we have, and so what we have, and what we need to have coming up to truly build a pro. We need to focus on pitching, and Jack does that better than anybody. And so if Jack can turn his attention away from all the stuff, the fundraising, the permission slip, the all that crap, and just coach softball pitchers. I mean, that's what I need him to do. Period. So.
And that's what I enjoy doing.
Absolutely. Yep.
It's going to be a fun time. We appreciate you both coming on. Come back. You're always invited, both of you. I don't have to ask. Just go, hey, when can we come on? And I'll get you on.
Okay.
Open invite. Thank you, Craig. That's Craig Bubb, new softball coach at Juniata, and assistant and former coach Jack McCurdy. Thank you guys for coming on. Appreciate it.
Thanks, guys.
Absolutely.
Sure. Mm-hmm.
Hey,
see ya.
Thanks, guys. Yep.
See you, Craig. See you, Jack.
Yeah. See you later.
Kenny V, that was a good one, wasn't it?
Oh, that was awesome. Yeah.
We had some good stuff there. I want to give up a score here. Want to give up a score I just got. We've been following them. The Mifflin County girls volleyball team beat Hershey 3-0 tonight to go to 10-3 on the season. Dakota Hirschberger, 16 kills, 19 digs, 7 aces. Liv Sudan, 30 digs. Riley Hines, 7 kills, 5 digs. Grace Paez Davoli, 7 kills, 2 blocks. Grayson Hine, 3 blocks, 1 kill, 2 digs. And it just says Jamili. Do you know that person? 15 assists, 5 digs, 2 aces. Jamilee. I only got one name, like it's Madonna.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't want to leave her out. So congratulations to the girls volleyball team who, another win for them, 10-3. Going to make District 6 playoffs for the first time. But Kenny, it's football time now.
Oh, yeah. Here we go.
We got to do that. Oh, I want to thank the loves. We got some loves from loves and likes from Michael Gager, Chad Smith, Braden Treester, Sandra Danielle Goss. We appreciate it. Okay. Scores from last week, buddy. Here we go.
Okay.
State College whipped up on CD East 43-17. Juniata crushed James Buchanan 46-16. Cedar Cliff, unfortunately, did the same thing to Mifflin County, 48-6. Bald Eagle area, not much of a rivalry right now between the two schools. 55-7 over Bellefonte. Bellwood, 20-7 over Phillipsburg. Mount Union, another shutout, 41-0 over Glendale. And Penns Valley, still reeling, lost 35-7 to Clearfield. Let's go.
Wow.
Yeah. Let's go to, and I'm stunned. If you want to mention the games, I covered Mifflin County Cedar Cliff, and it was just a tale of the lines, the offensive and defensive lines. It was 2 reasons. The offensive and defensive lines of Cedar Cliff were bigger and more physical, and Mifflin County had 5 turnovers. You cannot turn the ball over. Well, they had 5 turnovers and 7 or 8 penalties. You can't do that against a team like Cedar Cliff.
No, definitely not.
You're done if you do. Did you cover anything last week? You said you might not.
No, I wasn't able to get to any of the games.
Okay. That happens.
Yeah.
I'm not doing anything this week, so. All right. Rankings from, let me get that here. We always like to give Billy Splain a little plug. The PAFootballnews.com with their rankings, state rankings, Billy Splain and his crew. We have, as far as District 6 is concerned, State College in 6A, an honorable mention. AAA is in Central is number 9. AA, we have Richland 3rd, Bald Eagle 6th, and a newcomer on the honorable mentions, United, who have they've got some good athletes in this class that they got, because their wrestling team won District 6 goals last year.
Yeah, I was going to say, I thought I covered them against Penns Valley.
Yeah, and now here they are. They are 6-0, undefeated in football. They will not win. We'll get to wrestling later. It's not winter yet. But they will not win district goals this year, Kenny. Now that Bishop McCourt is off suspension.
No.
Like, Just a quick aside before we get to the scores. Okay.
Okay.
They came out, Flow Wrestling did, with the top 20 recruits of 2025. The 2024 class is already wrapping up. The 2026, the class of 2026, that means they'd be sophomores right now. 3 of the top 10 kids in the country wrestle for Bishop McCord.
Oh, wow.
And Jax Forrest and Bo Bassett are number 1 and number 2. United's not going to beat them. Nobody else will either. Unfortunately. It helps to recruit, like we say.
Sure does.
Let's get to the games this week. One is tomorrow night. Mifflin County 3-3 on the year in a crucial Mid-Penn Keystone battle travels down to Hershey to take on Milton Hershey. They are 3-3 on the season. They are both, I believe, 1-3 in the Keystone, and it will be a key matchup here. Mifflin County wanting to make the playoffs. This is a Thursday game. We just talked about what happened with Mifflin County. Milton Hershey is a running team. They basically live with whatever Elijah Johnson does, their senior running back. Last week they lost 55-15 to McDevitt, but everybody loses to McDevitt. So, thoughts?
Well, I think it would be a crucial time for the Huskies. They'll be playing with a little added incentive trying to make the playoffs. And they're on the road, so they don't have the pressure of the home crowd. I'll actually be covering as well. But I'm looking for Mifflin County to
so you're covering this game?
Yeah, I'm making up for things covering 2 this week instead of.
Okay, well then you don't have to give me a score. Who do you think's going to win?
I think Mifflin County's going to pull it out.
Okay. I will say this with a caveat. I agree with you, Mifflin County's going to pull it out unless they do these penalties. Like at another personal foul penalty. If they do the turnovers and penalty thing, they will lose. They will, because they're on the road, crowd noise. But I agree with you. I think Mifflin County is going to pull it out. I'm going to say 26-23.
Ooh, close.
It'll be close. Wow, here's it. The only team left on the schedule that could stop Bald Eagle area from having an undefeated regular season. We've got the Eagles. Excuse me. Traveling. I got a little frog in my throat there, Ken.
Oh, not good. Not good.
Bald Eagle area undefeated 6-0 travels to Clearfield 5-1. Going to be a good game, this one. Bald Eagle area, what can you say about them? We know, okay, I covered the Phillipsburg game for you. Nagel, 335 yards, 5 touchdowns. Cale Burns had 11 catches, 206 yards, 4 touchdowns. Then, last week, in their win over Bellefonte, Nagel throws for 382 yards and 6 touchdowns. Cale Burns goes for 117 and 2 touchdowns. His brother, I think it's his brother, Gavin Burns, also does 8 for 117 and a touchdown. And we talk about this offense that's like really, the passing offense is really flying. You remember a couple of games, Bud, they relied on Dubs, Cameron Dubs to bail them out. Now it's like Carson's at another level. But I think what people don't get is how good their defense is. Would you agree?
Oh, yeah. Very underrated.
You got Caleb Lanning, Eric Clark, Watkins, Braden Dubs, Colin Cunningham. These guys are all over the field making tackles, making sacks, making interceptions, and they're only giving up. They're scoring 36 a game, and they're only giving up 13.
Wow.
Just an amazingly good team. And I've said that since week one, and you did too. But Clearfield, no slouches. They won last week over Penns Valley, a good team. D'Amico threw for 203 yards and 3 touchdowns. And they got decent runners with Brady Collins and Carter Chamberlain. Their only loss was on the road to a good Forest Hills team. 22-13, and they got home field. It's going to be a great game. I've run my mouth enough on it. What are your thoughts?
Well, here I got to disqualify myself because I'm covering that game as well.
That's right. I forgot Thursday, Friday. Okay, who do you think's going to win the game?
Well, I definitely think that Bald Eagle comes in well rested with their win. They probably had most of their players out at halftime against Bellefonte. So you got a well rested Bald Eagle team. You're playing against the team that had a good game against Penns Valley, but when you go up against Penns Valley, it's always physical. So, but I look for Bald Eagle to pull it out.
I think this is it. This really is. I looked at the rest of Bald Eagle area's schedule, and if they get past Clearfield, they're going to be undefeated in the regular season and probably have the number 1 seed in 2A, either them or Richland. So they're going to be 1 or 2 if they win this. I think that's more than enough motivation. Jesse Nagel, this team, both sides of the ball, offensively, defensively. The only thing I see in Bald Eagle, I've covered 2 games for you of them, that they need to do is they need to get better on special teams. Other than that, off the other 2 phases, offense and defense, they are solid. I'm going to go with BEA in this, and I think it's going to be 35-21. Eagles go to 7-0. Next up, there's a lot of good games this week. Next up, state-ranked Central. Number 9 in AAA, 6-0, comes in to take on a reeling Penns Valley Rams, 4-2. Penns Valley has lost 2 of their last 4. And I said this to you, Kenny, a couple weeks ago. After they lost to Bald Eagle area, it seemed to take something out of them. Mm-hmm. They have not been the same. You covered couple games. They almost lost to Bellefonte. They almost lost to Phillipsburg. And then they got beat last week by Clearfield. And now they get a team that's tougher than Clearfield, the Central Scarlet Dragons.
Yeah, unless something really changes in this during this week, I look for the same thing to happen to Penns Valley this week. I look for them to lose to Central. Central's just a well-rounded team, state ranked. It's going to be a 34-20.
And this is one Penns Valley's got to go up against a Central team that Penns Valley had struggled. It was a good game, but they were, they jumped out to that big lead in the first quarter over Bald Eagle, and then they were dominated. Well, Central passes just as well as Bald Eagle area. Eli Muthler, their quarterback, had 257 yards, 3 touchdowns last week. He's thrown for 1,400 yards and 16 touchdowns this year. They've got like 4-headed receiver crew, and their defense, buddy, is only given up. They've outscored their opponents 223-61.
Jeez.
and even though they're on the road, Penns Valley's struggling. I think this is going to be all Central. Mm-hmm. I do. I think it's going to be all Central. I think it's going to be Ty Watson will give them fits, though. Even in that loss last week, he had 217 yards. So, but I'm going to say 42-14 Central. Here's another good game. Battle of the Inter-County Conference. Juniata Valley, 5-1, takes on the Mount Union Trojans, 5-1. And this one, my friend, is going to be a battle of runners. Both teams love to run. I was looking at last week, Jay Sean Robinson had 100 yards, 2 touchdowns. Josh Ryan had 102. The quarterback, Bryce Danish, had only threw 5 passes, but 2 of them were touchdowns. But they like to run the ball, and the same thing with Juniata Valley. They have a 4-headed rushing attack of Andrew Clark, Levi Thompson, Adrian Prow, and Vincent Hoover. They did struggle last week. They barely got by Mo Valley 20-14, and you remember Mount Union beat Mo Valley 42-0.
I was going to say quite handily, I thought. Yeah.
So, I mean, if you're comparing, then So, give me your thoughts on it.
Well, I think that Mount Union having the home field advantage is very important in this contest. Mount Union always performs great in front of the home crowd. Like you said, with Juniata Valley having a tough time with Mo Valley and Mount Union just destroying them, I think that's a tail right there, and I look for Mount Union to win 27-14.
Yeah, I think it's going to be Mount Union too. I think about the same score. I think I'm going to say maybe a little close, but 28-17, whatever. Mount Union. The home field will matter in that game.
Mm-hmm.
This one I'm not going to discuss much. There's no need to.
Oh no.
State College, honorable mention, state rank comes in 4-1. They have, oh, by the way, Sheffy returned. I mean, he's been back, but he hasn't been the same. Last week against CD East, 157 yards, 2 touchdowns.
Yeah.
Corkery, the man we've been talking about, they got their quarterback 236 yards, 3 touchdowns. Ty Salazar had 4 catches, 127 yards. They got a big 4. Michael Gall, 2 touchdowns. Demir Code, a touchdown. That's their receivers. And here's the scary part. You ready for this, bud?
Mm-hmm.
Sheffy is a sophomore. Code is a sophomore. Corkery, Salazar, and Gall are juniors, so they'll all be back.
Wow.
Carlisle lost to Central Dauphin 50-16. I'm not going to say much about it. It's going to be a blowout. I'm going to say 51-6 State College.
This one definitely has Mercy Rule written all over it. I'm going to say 65-7.
Ouch. I guess we won't be traveling to Carlisle anytime soon.
No.
All right. Battle of the County, Center County. It is both needing a win desperately, especially Bellefonte. Bellefonte, 0-6, travels up to Phillipsburg to take on the 1-5 Mounties. Bellefonte, offense is better. We talked about with quarterback Liam Halterman. They're still struggling for a win. And offensively, they're still struggling, even though it's a little bit better. To show you what a difference he's made since I did a little figuring, Ken. Since they put him in the lineup, Bellefonte on the season has been outscored 233-45.
Wow.
And 26 of the 45 points have been scored when they put Halterman in at quarterback 3 games ago.
Mm.
PO, on the other hand, has scored. They just can't find ways to win. And that team, strictly, you don't have any threat of a passing attack there. They like to run 4 different backs: Jacody Jones, Parker Lamb, Dalton Barger, and Sam McDonald. I'm only because it's home, I'm going to give Phillipsburg the edge in this. I think they're going to win 21-14.
Well, here's where we differ. We finally differ on one. I've seen Bellefonte the last couple of weeks, with the exception of last weekend, but everyone's going to get beat handily by a bald eagle. You can see the Bellefonte starting to come on. They were only like 6 inches away from upsetting Penns Valley. Before that, it seems like they just keep improving and improving. But in order for the Belfont to come out with a win, got to get started early, get a little confidence, build up a little bit of a lead, and I see them defeating Phillipsburg because, believe it or not, Belfont still has a chance of making the postseason. So,
Oh, I know, because 4A so bad.
right, and I know that would be something that would be. I think that's something Red Raiders are going to. But I'm gonna say it'll be a close one. I'm gonna call 24-23.
All right. In all fairness, like I say quite a bit, you live in Belfont, so they'll probably attack you if you go again. You go against them. A little plug for our buddy Jed Donahue, PASN, Pennsylvania Sports Network. His show every day, Monday through Friday, I believe. And I think God forbid the hours. I think it's isn't it like 5 to 7, 5 to 8?
I believe it's.
He'll correct me if I'm wrong, but you can listen to him now. He's not behind a paywall anymore. It's free. He's on a bunch of stations. Plus, you can hear it streamed live on Pennsylvania Sports.net, I think. I got to get that right. That's wrong to just bring his name up and not have the URL right. But Jed's back on the air. And speaking of Jed, if you guys do listen to me, some of you who do, the Husky Hotline, there'll be no Husky Hotline tomorrow night because of football. Jed Donahue and Jeff Stevens will be on the call on Big Louie with the Milton Hershey game. And I think that's an early kickoff, isn't it, Ken?
Well, I'll have to double check, but I'm thinking it's still a 7 o'clock game.
Oh, okay. Well, then if it's a 7 o'clock game, then pregame will be 6:40, kickoff 7 o'clock on Big Louie if you're in the Lewistown area. All right. Any shout-outs, buddy?
I got one shout out.
All right. Even with one, we got to play it.
All right.
It's Kenny Varner. Shout-outs. Feeding the ducks. All right. What do we got?
Okay. We have Bald Eagle server volleyball. Olivia Boone yesterday, and they went against Greater Johnstown area. She picked up her 100th ace of her career. Congratulations, great feat on that. Of course, the Bald Eagle area volleyball team's having a great season this year, and will be one of the favorites to win the District 6.
Like they always are.
Mm-hmm.
Let me ask you a question. Is she related to the remember the twin Boone brothers that played hoops up there?
Yes. I don't know. There's got to be some relation. Sure.
Yeah.
That's one of those Bald Eagle names.
Yes. And myself, I got a shout out.
Awesome.
Wrestling, of course. Penn State, the number one recruiting class of 2023-24 season. That means these guys are seniors right now. Everybody thought, okay, that would be it. They got six top 10 wrestlers in the 2000. You believe that? 6 top 10 wrestlers. 6 top 12 wrestlers, I think. Yeah, 6 top 12. 6 of the top 12 in the 2024 class.
Wow.
You thought that we were going to rest on it, right?
Uh-huh.
Well, they got this past week the number one recruit in the 2025 class. Wow. Number one in the country, PJ Duke of New York. 152-pounder. He'll be 157 in college, committed to Penn State. So
that's awesome.
Anybody thinks you're going to beat him, get ready. Load up. Get ready. So congratulations to Kale and the boys. PJ Duke in the fold. Number one. So that gives them the number one recruit of the 2024 class, Zach Ryder, and the number one recruit of the 2025 class, PJ Duke. And you know how convenient it is, buddy. They go to the same high school.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. All right, so we went long like we always do, but had fun. Good show, wasn't it?
It was very good.
But yeah, so that's going to about wrap it up for us. Any final words, Mr. V?
Just enjoy the weather. I guess the rain's supposed to come in Friday late in the evening, so get out there and enjoy your favorite athlete sports and soak it in, because you don't know what next week's going to be. We're going to just ride out this summer weather as long as we can.
Absolutely. Enjoy it. This is our, what my Graham used to say, this is the Indian summer. And then we're going to get cold. It always happens.
And it's going to drop quick.
But yeah, so tomorrow night, Mifflin County travels to Milton Hershey for football. Kenny Varner's going to cover that. And Kenny is covering, who did you say? I'm sorry.
Bald
Eagle. Bald Eagle Clearfield. That's going to be a great game. I'm going to watch that one on the stream. No doubt about it. Bald Eagle Clearfield. So that's going to wrap it up for tonight. For Kenny Varner, I am Brian Carson. We will see you next week with another edition of the Press Box. Have a great rest of your week, an even better weekend. Good night, everybody.
Night, everybody.